50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this where you're going? This is where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You have to be kidding.
All right, that was former VP Joe Biden defending Hunter Biden, his son, against the corruption attacks, allegations at Thursday night's debate, insisting that the story is Russian disinformation. Among those 50 former national intelligence folks that he referred to, John Brennan and James Clapper, who may very well be involved in the coup to take down Donald Trump. Joining us right now is Congressman Jim Jordan. He is the ranking Republican on the House Judiciary Committee, and Congressman Doug Collins also on the committee. Gentlemen, it is great to see you. Thanks very much for joining us. First, let me get your reaction to what Adam Schiff has been doing, going around, gathering up as many people as he can to say the Hunter Biden story is disinformation. John Ratcliffe threw a wrench in all of that. The director of national intelligence joined me on Monday, and we played that soundbite earlier in the program. Congressman Jordan, your reaction.
How can it be disinformation? We have the drop slip Hunter Biden signed. We have John Ratcliffe and the FBI saying it's not Russian disinformation. We have an eyewitness who says the emails are real. We have an eyewitness who says the big guy in one of the emails, in fact, refers to Joe Biden. And that same eyewitness met with Joe Biden about this whole subject area. Remember, these are the same people, the same 50 people who signed this letter are the same people who said the fake dossier is real. Now they're saying the real laptop, the real emails are fake. No one believes them. The only problem is big tech is censoring this information, and not enough journalists are doing their job so Americans can find out what really happened.
Right.
Yeah, I want to get back to big tech.
It's all true.
Go ahead. Yep. And Congressman Collins, you've been also talking about the coup. The both of you have done such great work to expose the real issues here and the way that there was a coup to take down Donald Trump. Your reaction?
You know, look, I go a step further, Maria. You're possibly involved in the coup. No, Brennan and Clapper are right in the middle of it. I mean, what we've seen everywhere, it leads back to these folks who are trying to cover their own tracks. And Jim's right about this. I mean, why is it that the New York Times can report about the president's tax returns and things like that they were given, you know, to report that they didn't name the sources and stuff, but yet the Twitter didn't censor them, but yet Twitter and other social media are censoring the New York Post for actually posting the truth about Hunter Biden. This is an up, down, down world. This is why the media is so disliked and why why they're trying to bend this election for Joe Biden. Understand, what we're in is sort of an Orwellian Alice in Wonderland kind of time right now. What's up is down and down is up. Brennan and Clapper and all these folks, Comey, all the rest of the coup, do not want you focused on what they did. So they're trying to continue this narrative. And look, if Adam Schiff is saying it, who's believing it? I mean, he said so many things that are false. If his lips are moving, he's not telling the truth most of the time. Anyway, collusion in plain sight, we can go back. And Jim and I have been seeing this for too long. It's time to clear this up and hold those accountable right now.
Yeah, I mean, what you have going on here is the same group that tried to put all of this disinformation into the ether in 2016 about Donald Trump colluding. That's the same group that wants to be in power again. It's simple as that. Joe Biden was coming up with the Logan Act, Jim Jordan, and he now wants to be president.
Yeah, and never forget, these people told us that there was supposed collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, between President Trump and Russia, when in fact they knew it wasn't true. And we now know they knew it wasn't true because Rick Grinnell released the transcripts that proved there was no proper predicate for launching this investigation in the first place. So these people have misled the American people for 4 years now, and they're trying to do it again here just 9 days before an important election.
Hey, Maria.
Yeah, yep.
No, Maria, I just want to point out there what Jim thought. Think about this. When Jim Jordan and myself and others who have been fighting on this sham impeachment last year, when we were going through this, you know, I'm at a point now where I'm tired of the intelligence community. I'm tired of the FBI slow-walking this stuff. They're slow-walking it to the Senate. They're slow-walking it everywhere else. It's time for Chris Wray. And frankly, I think if Gina Haspel at the CIA is actually slow-walking this information, they need to go. Because if they had this laptop last December, when Jim and myself and so many others were out there fighting hard, showing quid pro Joes, showing what was happening happening in Ukraine, that it was not the president, it was them. If they had this information then, I am appalled that we did not get that on the Hill. That should have been something that should have been investigated back then instead of us just finding out about it now. That's the problem that's wrong right now.
It really is extraordinary that it is the same group of people who abused power in 2016 want to be back in power. I got to ask you about this potential cover-up, both of you on the media. Jim Jordan, you have actually looked at these emails and you have authenticated them. I want to ask you about that. And also, what happens if Joe Biden does win this election and becomes president? With all of these business entanglements from China to Ukraine. Let's take a break and then get into that when we come right back. We've got Jim Jordan and Doug Collins with me this morning, and we've got more straight ahead on Sunday Morning Futures. Congressman Jim Jordan and Doug Collins, they both sit on the House Judiciary Committee. I want to ask you about the media and Twitter. But first, Jim Jordan, your staff independently authenticated these emails that we're talking about from Hunter Biden's laptop. What can you tell us in terms of what's fact?
Yep. No, Maria, they're as real can be. We have the eyewitness, Mr. Bobulinski, who said these are authentic, these are real. The big guy in one of these emails does, in fact, mean Joe Biden, and he himself had spoke to former Vice President Biden. So this is as real as it gets. And here's the fundamental question. Why won't Joe Biden say they're not real? If they're not accurate, if these aren't accurate emails, why won't the Biden say so? And why, and frankly, why won't the press ask him that fundamental question, that basic question? Mr. Biden, are these actually accurate? Is this to Hunter Biden's laptop? And in fact, are you the big guy? They won't ask him that question, but the American people know those facts are true.
I mean, Doug Collins, this email is really the smoking gun, and here it is, written by Hunter Biden to an executive at that Chinese company, CEFC. Says, my understanding is that the original agreement with the director was for consulting fees based on introductions alone at a rate of $10 million a year for a 3-year guarantee of $30 million. The chairman then changed the deal after we met in Miami to a much more lasting and lucrative arrangement to create a holding company, 50% owned by me and 50% owned by him. Consulting fees is one piece of our income stream, but the reason this proposal by the chairman was so much more interesting to me and my family is that we would also be partners in the equity and profits of the joint ventures investment. At the end of the email, they break it down in terms of who gets what, and it says 20 held by Hunter, another 20 held by Jim Biden, his brother, another 10 held by H for the big guy, Doug Collins, the big guy being Joe Biden.
And Joe Biden. I mean, it's amazing here. I mean, what Jim just broke down is truth. And what is amazing to me is the Biden campaign and their willing accomplices in the media have never denied the authenticity of these documents. They've never tried to attack these documents. They just give broad, sweeping arguments saying, oh, it's not real. But, you know, we found out something. We talked about it in a previous segment with the senator. Biden Inc. had a matchmaker. I guess the matchmaker was Hunter Biden, Match.com, but it has a competition here because his job was to go out and make sure that he could get the access through his father, who is the vice president, so he could make money for Biden Inc. This is becoming the concern here. And you made a comment earlier, Maria, about this. It says, why should this concern people? He's asking to be put in the most powerful chair in the world, the president of the United States. And these are the kind of dealings he did as vice president. Everybody should be scared to death of this.
Yeah, what about media and social media? Let's talk real quick. Jim Jordan, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg are going to be testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee next month. But you've been calling for them in the House for months now. What are you going to do about this cover-up going on by the media?
Well, two things. When they testify, I think the first question I would ask Jack Dorsey is, why are you still censoring the New York Post? All these facts we've just talked about are real. They're just that, facts. Why are you still censoring the New York Post, and a publication that's been around since Alexander Hamilton, for goodness sake? So why are you doing that? The remedy is legislation we've introduced, Doug and others on the Judiciary Committee that we've introduced, that does a complete overhaul of Section 230, brings back some liability for these folks, and will have the incentives in place so that they can't keep censoring conservatives like they've been doing.
Exactly.
Well, it's pretty extraordinary. I know you both were recipients of that. Go ahead. Real final word here. Go ahead.
No, Maria, I appreciate it because, you know, what Jim's saying, Jim and I have been the victim, you know, the base of the victim. I think we're on the tip of the spear. They don't want to hear from Jim Jordan and Doug Collins. That's why they censor us. That's why, I mean, we had a campaign ad just the other day they took down because they said it was too sensitive, and it was just simply a campaign ad. When Jim Jordan and Doug Collins tell the truth about this president who has worked so hard for the American people, who was attacked unmercifully, and they give Joe Biden a pass, that should tell the American people all they need to know about the media giants right now.
It's pretty extraordinary, guys. It's great to see you both, Congressman. Thank you so much. Doug Collins and Jim Jordan. We'll keep following it as we have been, of course.